Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Danion's Gaming Up. My name is of course Danion, and welcome to my Glass Canon Mage. So, what can we expect from this video today? In this video I'm going to show you everything you need to know about a Glass Canon Mage, the pros and definitely the cons of it, what you need in the little theory crafting behind everything, and we're going to take a look at the passive skills and all of the normal skills that we are going to use. But also we're going to take a look at the items, because some items, and especially affixes on them, are definitely needed if you want to run this build smoothly. So first off, let's take a look at the damage. The damage we have got going here is very, very high. This does an insane amount of damage on mobs. However, we are trading in a ton of toughness. It is very hard to run this build smoothly on Torment 6. I've been running this build on Torment 5 with friends, but also solo, and on that it is perfect. You just blast through it. So, alright, let's start taking a look at our skills, shall we? Now it's becoming interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Passive skills first, there we go. On the first one, Glass Canon. Just look at it. Increase all damage done by 15%. It is too good to pass on if you want to have a Glass Cannon build. Basically in every build you want to have this, unless you want to go for some tank-ish melee build, but I don't really see those working. But as you can already see here, but decreases armor and resistance by 10%. It's already... that's annoying, especially because we already have so low amount of toughness. But still, increase all damage done. This just screams Glass Cannon build all over. And for the second one, I am using Astral Presence. Increase your maximum arcane power by 20 and arcane power regeneration by 2 per second. This is just key to have if you want to keep throwing out those frost orbs. And it is just a really good passive talent. There is nothing that can compare with this, what is in here. And for the third passive skill slot, I am using Prodigy. When you cast a signature spell, you gain 5 arcane power. Now, it's very good to know that we will only have 2 damage dealing abilities in this build. Arcane Orb, Frozen Orb, creates an orb of frozen death that stretches an area with ice bolts, dealing 393% weapon damage as cold. This is for the slow, very important because we don't want to get hit at all. And it also does a ton of damage. This is our main spell. And for the second spell that we are going to use Electrocute. Now, Electrocute is a signature spell, and signature spells are completely free to cast. This means that they don't cost arcane power, and the only thing that we're going to use arcane power on is on our Frozen Orb. The addition of Electrocute is that it is going to hit up to 2 additional enemies, so you will be hitting 3 enemies in total, because most of the times you're going to fight a very big pack anyway. With the glyph, Surge of Power, we can actually make those hits gain 1 arcane power, which is absolutely awesome. So we are looking at 3 arcane power for each enemy hit. This is modified by attack speed, so the more attack speed you have, the faster your arcane power is going to be restored. And if we combine that with Prodigy, then we are looking at a very nice amount of arcane power restored. That is the reason I run Prodigy. On the other hand, if you already have a very high amount of arcane power per second, or a very high amount of arcane power on crit, which we will take a look into a second, you might run with Cold Blooded. Enemies chill or frozen by you take 10% more damage from all sources from the duration of the chill or freeze. Now, Frozen Orb applies a freeze or chill effect, which means that your Glass Cannon is going to do even more damage. 10% on a ton of damage is a ton of damage. So you might want to take a look at these. I personally like it if I can just keep throwing my Frozen Orbs out there, channel Electrocute for 2-3 seconds, have a complete full arcane power bar, and throw out 6 or 7 or maybe 8 Frozen Orbs in a go. This usually obliterates any pack that you see in front of you. Now, I said that we were going to only have 2 damage dealing abilities, but I completely forgot that we have a second or a third one basically, which is called Archon, with the glyph Arcane Destruction. Transform into a being of pure arcane energy for 20 seconds while in Archon form. Your normal abilities are replaced by powerful Archon abilities, and your damage, armor and resistance are increased by 20%. This is your get out of jail free card. Whenever you use this, you just escape. You float away like, I'm gonna go away. You do a ton of damage with this, especially when you explode. You do 3,680% weapon damage in a 15-yard radius. For me, it crits up to 17 million. I haven't seen anything hit as hard in the game as that. If you have, please let me know, because I want to see that. That's gonna be funny. But this basically, it takes care of elites, it takes care of massive packs, and the fact that it increases your resistance just gives you that little edge on surviving and just getting out of there, positioning yourself again and just throwing your frozen orbs out there. So, and the third skill we're going to take a look at is Magic Weapon. The second one is Electrocute, we already covered that, so I'm going to go with Magic Weapon right now. Magic Weapon increases your weapon damage by 10%. If you glyph it, however, it will go up to 20%. What this means is that weapon damage gets applied to your already existing weapon and is contributed to your damage, as we can demonstrate right here. For me, that is an increase of 70k. That is beautiful. That is a lot of damage. So even if you have lesser gear or lower gear, or just very unlucky with finding items, this will be able to boost your damage greatly. It's very nice. However, if you go up to Conduit, attacks have a chance to restore 1 arcane power. So if you have trouble with getting your arcane power up, this might save you, so you'll be able to throw out frozen orbs more easily. It's just for you up to decide if you like to throw out frozen orbs that have a lot of damage, or if you want to spend 2 seconds standing and casting Electrocute, which is already being modified by the weapon damage, so it also does a nice amount of damage. Personally, I don't mind standing 2 seconds casting Electrocute, because, you know, unlimited power and all that, and then throwing a fully energized frozen orb that does the most amount of damage. So, and the fourth skill we're going to take a look at is Energy Armor. Usually you take Energy Armor if you want to have a high amount of toughness, and you do that by using Prismatic Armor. Energy Armor increases your armor by 35%, which is nice, but with Prismatic Armor increases also all your resistances by 25%. That is normally the way to go if you want to have a normal damage and survivability around build. However, every other glyph with Energy Armor decreases your arcane power by 20, meaning if you don't have anything else, you will be stuck around 80 arcane power. If you use the Energy Tab glyph, rather than decreasing your maximum arcane power, Energy Armor actually increases it by 20. So for me, that means I run around with 153 arcane power. That is a lot. So if we're going to take a look, Astral Presence, 20, and where is it? There it is. Energy Armor, another 20. So if you don't have anything on your weapon, you would have had 140 arcane power already. I actually have something on my weapon. I'm very happy with that the game decided to give me that. So I run around with 153. And the last ability we're going to take a look at is Familiar. Now the Familiar is this little floating thing that is here. Every time you do an attack, as you can see right there, the red thing does damage, and it does around 179 weapon damage as fire. However, Sparkflint increases your total damage by 10%. So in this case, that is a lot. For me, that is nearly 50k damage. However, if you have trouble with having your arcane power up, you can have another 2 arcane per second here with Arcon. While the Familiar is active, you generate 2 arcane power per second. So as you can see in this build, there are a lot of things that you can do in order to have a very big arcane pool, have a very high amount of resource so that you can fill up that arcane pool, or you can go for full out damage. Now you can also try min-maxing it, go for a little bit more arcane power or go for a little bit more survivability. Of course, it's all up to you. I mean, that's the beauty about Diablo. You can do a lot of things with your builds. But for me, this is my build right now. And I do a lot of damage. 464k damage. Now, before I show you the video as where I fight some elites and do some massive packs with this build, I have to talk about one more little thing, and that is the offhand or the headpiece. In order to make this really work, you have to have Arcane on crit. For me, that means I have 10 Arcane power on a crit. So whenever I crit with a Frozen Orb or any other ability that is not a signature spell, I will get 10 Arcane power. Since crit chance is the highest valued stat for a mage anyway, you will be running around with 50, maybe 60, maybe even higher percentage of crit, meaning you will almost always have a nice amount of Arcane power filling up. Anyway guys, the video is coming up. I'm not really sure what is in it actually. I still have to make it.